All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a really profound talk given by Loon back on July 27th, 2017. And it's a talk that gets right to the heart of one of our biggest assumptions, this idea that our minds, our thoughts, and our feelings are actually ours. So let's just dive right in. The speaker kicks things off with a question that, on the surface, seems almost silly. Is your mind yours? I mean, of course it is, right? But the point here isn't about getting a quick yes or no. The whole journey is about the investigation itself. And this is so crucial right from the get-go. This isn't about just adopting some new cool belief. The talk uses this great analogy of testing a diamond. You wouldn't just take someone's word that it's real, you test it, right? And in the exact same way, we're being invited to test our own experience, not just swallow a new idea. You see, every time we say something as simple as my mind, we're packing three big ideas into two little words. There's a me, there's a mind, and there's this invisible link of ownership connecting them. So the idea is to really investigate that feeling of my, starting with something we can all experience directly. So let's see how this whole thing builds by looking at a case study with our own senses. We're going to dig into the difference between what our ears are just doing naturally all the time and what we think we're doing with them. It's a really subtle difference, but it's super powerful. Now, check out this distinction. Hearing, it just happens. It's a totally natural process. It's uncontrolled. Your ears are just open, taking in everything, whether it's loud or quiet. But listening? Listening feels different, doesn't it? It feels like something you are doing, like you're in the driver's seat. And that's the key ingredient, the thing that separates one from the other. Intention. You actually have to intend to listen for that focused listening to happen. If there's no intention, it's just plain old hearing. The intention is the cause, and the listening is the effect. Okay, but this is where the investigation gets really juicy. If the whole act of listening hinges on that intention, are you truly 100% in charge of it? It sure feels like it sometimes, but let's look a little closer.
So here's how the whole thing gets deconstructed. Think about it. You intend to listen carefully to something, but then an itch pops up on your arm, or a random thought about what to have for dinner just appears, and poof, the intention is gone, and so is the listening. The argument here is that since that intention can vanish all on its own without your permission, then you don't really control the cause. And if you don't control the cause, you can't really claim to control the effect.
All right, so if we can see this mechanism with something as simple and physical as listening, what happens if we apply that exact same logic to our inner world? You know, the really personal stuff, like our thoughts and our feelings. Now, this is where the talk throws out a really radical idea, that your mind, whether it's feeling sleepy or happy or anxious, is just a happening. It's a natural process that unfolds on its own, kind of like the weather. You don't own it or command it. I mean, just try it. Try to make sleepiness appear right now, or try to make it go away when you're exhausted. You can't. You see pretty quickly that it has a life of its own. And oh boy, this is a big one. It really feels like we can direct our thoughts, doesn't it? We decide to solve a math problem or remember a great vacation. But if we're following this line of inquiry, where do those thoughts actually come from? Are you really creating them from scratch?
Well, the speaker points out that our thoughts don't just appear out of thin air. You can only think about things you've already experienced through your senses. In that way, thinking is basically a memory of the past. Even your wildest imagination is just you remixing things you've already seen or known. You can imagine a flying pig because you've seen a pig and you've seen something fly. All our thoughts are conditioned by this pool of past experiences and beliefs, many of which we're not even conscious of.
So, if I am not the CEO in charge of my senses, my thoughts, or my feelings, then what is? I mean, my heart beats, my lungs breathe, all without my command. What's the unseen force, the underlying law that keeps all these processes running? And the talk gives this principle a name, karma. But now, hold on, it's really important to understand this isn't about a cosmic scoreboard of good and bad deeds. It's being framed here as a fundamental, impersonal law of nature. Just like gravity is the unseen law that makes an apple fall, karma is presented as the unseen law that just keeps all these mental and physical processes happening. And this is the profound place this investigation leads. The realization that the whole mind-body system is just this incredible interconnected phenomenon operating according to its own natural laws. The person, that solid sense of me that feels like it's in charge, isn't some entity pulling the levers. It's more like a label we've stuck on this continuous unfolding process. Okay, so what now? The absolute crucial point is not to just walk away and start believing all this. In fact, the talk warns against doing that. The whole goal is to develop your own direct, personal understanding by actually looking at these processes for yourself. And this is the proposed method, the path forward. It's really a path of curious observation, not forcing a conclusion. It starts with getting the right information, asking the right kind of questions to point your attention in the right direction, and then just watching what happens inside your own experience without trying to change it or judge it. This quote just perfectly captures the whole spirit of it. Dharma here just means the true nature of reality. It's not a theory you can memorize from a book. It has to be seen directly. It's a personal realization that's so direct, words can't really do it justice. You can't explain it, but when you see it, you just know. And so this leaves us with this final, really provocative thought to sit with. Our default setting is to try to manage and control our inner world. But what could happen if we just shifted that? What might we discover if we dropped the attitude of being the master of our mind and instead took up the role of a curious, open student of it? According to this talk, that simple shift could change absolutely everything.